Hi there, I'm Becky Whetstone. People call me the Marriage Crisis Manager because of my passion for working with couples whose marriage is on the brink. I got interested in marriage crisis, over 30 years ago when I went through one myself and found out that marriage therapists didn't know anything about how to help couples in crisis. I wasn't a therapist then, but it just didn't sit well with me that with so many people going through a marriage crisis that marriage therapists weren't prepared or trained to help. And of course, when I went to graduate school a few years later, I found out that the program didn't teach us anything about it. And it wasn't a requirement to teach budding therapists about marriage crisis dynamics and how to help couples. And so every time I had a chance to research things, I researched marriage crisis and I would go to the library and look at the studies and books and things that were available. And I found that there was a lot of information available on how to help couples in crisis. But again, it just wasn't something that was taught to marriage therapists or in the mainstream of our knowledge. So I sort of made a promise to myself right then and there that I was going to change that I was going to bring out this wonderful knowledge that I had found in my adventures in the library. And I was going to write a book about it, and I was going to write articles about it, and I was going to put the information out there that couples could use, and maybe there would be some marriages that we could save that otherwise would have gone through divorce. And then after graduate school, I began to place advertisements trying to attract couples in crisis, so I could begin to develop a intervention plan for them. And so I've been working on that for 20 years. I have seen thousands of couples in crisis, and I have found the best ways to help them, which always begins with stabilization, getting everybody to calm down, slow down, and let's see where we are. And then we come up with a initial plan of action. Um, and then we go from there depending on what their situation is. And so there really aren't many marriage therapists or any that I know of that specialize in marriage crisis. I do hope to train therapists about how to do it one day. But right now I'm so busy just trying to help couples whose marriages are on the brink. They're freaking out. They don't know what to do. And I sort of guide them through it, like a tour guide, and I coach them and tell them exactly what they need to do that will give them the best odds of being able to save their marriage. Lately, I have come to decide that, if someone makes one appointment with me for their marriage, they may come two or three times. Then, something happens in their family and they drop out of therapy for a little while and then they tend not to come back. And I may hear from them many months later or a couple of years later when their marriage problems are even worse. So I decided that the traditional model of doing once a week therapy with couples and that's it, or less, sometimes people come every other week or every 3 weeks or every month, was not doing the trick to get couples the kind of results that they told me they wanted. I really believe that if you're going to get a great result, you need to go through a focused period of time where you're focusing on the relationship, reading books, studying, and learning the dynamics of healthy relationships. And it is a sorely needed intervention for couples. And so what I do now is I have a marriage crisis consultation or just a marriage consultation for 90 minutes. And that's where I meet couples and hear their stories and assess what's going on. And then by the end of the session, I tell them, hey, I think this is what you need, or I'll sometimes tell them I don't think I'm a fit for you, but I will refer you to someone who is. If we're a fit, then I'm going to send them a proposal for a 2 or 3 month kind of intensive, usually is what I recommend for people. And the plan is completely designed, especially for them and what their situation is. And it involves not only quite a few therapy sessions during the 2 or 3 months, individual sessions and couple sessions, but I also create a chat room in Voxer, the app Voxer, where you can leave voice messages and type back and forth to each other. And in those Voxer rooms, they can ask me questions, tell me what's not working for them. They can get mad at me, um, whatever it is going on, and I coach them through it. I try and I teach them a lot of relationship skills in the Voxer chat rooms, and I make myself available 7 days a week in the Voxer room. Usually, I'm able to communicate with them daily if that's what they want. Some people don't want much of it at all. I think that's sad because there I am, and part of the package that you get with me, or the program, the Marriage Crisis Intensive Program, is my focused attention on you and your marriage on a daily basis. And I don't know any other marriage therapist that offers that kind of attention. And I've just come to believe that that's what it takes to get couples where they need to go. And so, if you buy a program that say has 10, 12, 16 sessions in 2 months, then, and it's non-refundable, you are going to keep coming. You are going to commit yourself to it. And that's part of the strategy of why I'm doing this, is I want couples to be accountable, and I want them to keep coming back and keep working on it. And I'll be telling them along the way if I see, that they are candidates for great change or not. Sometimes we have one person in a couple who is just not open to change, but that's important information for the other spouse, especially, to know that they're married to someone who is so stuck in how they see things that they're never going to change, because people divorce when they lose hope for change. So that's extremely important information. And what, as much as I hate divorce, sometimes it's the wisest option for a family. So it takes time to know these things. It takes time to sort through these things in most cases. So this is why I am now doing marriage crisis consultations and encouraging people to enter into my 2 or 3 month programs where they get intensive attention in the therapy room and coaching between sessions. So I encourage you all to check out my marriage crisis consultations, or just the marriage consultations. If your marriage is not on the brink, but it's pretty wobbly, you can still come in and get intensive work with me for a couple of months and possibly turn your marriage around. So I do everything I can to help couples. I give it all I have. My goal for them is to knock it out of the park and get themselves to a place they never could have gotten to in just ordinary week by week therapy and not communicating with their therapist in between. So that's why I'm doing marriage crisis consultations and marriage consultations and the 2 to 3 month programs. And I hope that you'll contact me if that sounds like something that you would like to do, especially if you've tried everything else. I say, if you're not going to do this, what are you going to do? Okay, what's your plan if you're not going to do a focused amount of work on your marriage? And if not me, who? So my kind of therapy is not like the run-of-the-mill therapy. I'm a teacher. I am a coach. And I tell you exactly what I see and what I think, and I will coach you in what you need to do. So it's very different from the kind of marriage therapy that many of my clients say that they've had. And over again, they tell me that they wish they had come to me first. So anyway, thank you for listening. And I hope to see you in a focused, intensive program to turn your marriage around very soon.